What is up, everyone? Welcome back to French Bread's Dark Souls 3 lore run. I am French Bread, or Chris if you prefer. And we are back in the Cleansing Chapel within the Cathedral of the Deep. As you can see, we've changed up both our fashion and our weapon yet again. I was a little... I wasn't very impressed with the war pick. As much as I wanted to like it, it just wasn't working out for me. So I decided to level up the Great Machete once and give it the heavy infusion. Oops. And by doing that, I was able to get a weapon that's already fairly powerful, 243 AR rating. I also switched to the Grass Crest shield as opposed to the War Guide shield. I was getting a little bored of the War Guide shield, and with this new weapon, it's a Great Axe class weapon, I believe. We use a whole lot more stamina with each hit. I think we can maybe get 2 hits before we're out of stamina as far as comboing potential goes. So having both the Cloanthy Ring and the Grass Crest shield there to help pick our stamina back up is going to be very helpful. And as you can see, we don't get too many hits, but the ones we do get in can do good work. Let's take care of this fool right here so he doesn't disrupt us. Alright, I don't think there's anything, or I can't remember anything we need to catch up with lore wise, so we're going to dive right into it today. If there was anything I forgot, we'll catch up to it when we do an item roundup. Alright. Now, I don't believe there are some events to trigger here within even the starting area, but I don't think they're ready to start yet. Let's see. Just totally inconspicuously walking up to that well, no reason. We'll get back to it. Alright, if you remember from last time, we got a ways through the graveyard here in order to pick up the Astora Greatsword and the Executioner's Greatsword. The former I do still intend to use at some point in the playthrough. We didn't go any farther than that, so let's cross this bridge here. Try and reach the cathedral proper. Got one of these bastards waiting for us. And unfortunately, we are just short. We're just shy of the damage we need to two-shot those. There's something we can do about that, though. Oh, now I got the leeches. Or the maggots. If you haven't noticed already, what we're going to try and do is use magic weapon to shore up that slight amount of weakness. And I want to deal with these real quick too. There. If you take out a torch, you get rid of your blood loss. Really awkward for us right now with me having to go through the menus. I do apologize. Ah, shit! This guy, Yep. I knew he was coming, obviously, but I didn't realize he would be here quite so quickly. While we were messing around with our inventory, he got the drop on us. Sorry for that false start. We're going to run back there and deal with him properly this time. That was one of the enemy types called, I believe they're called Grave Wardens, according to their armor, which drops. And if we get some of that armor to drop in this episode, we'll discuss what exactly their purpose is. If we don't worry, I'll farm some out. We'll talk about it then. But what I can discuss is how much I fucking hate Grave Wardens. there are enemies that, you know, are gonna bug you because they're not easy. You have a difficult time with them. And then there are enemies that, for me, bug me because I just think they're poorly designed. And the Grave Wardens are definitely one of those enemies. I didn't let them show it off this time because I just didn't want to deal with it. But as you can see, they were dual-wielding, agile-style warriors. Which is all well and good. I don't mind an enemy that attacks quickly, attacks aggressively. Even if the bleed build-up doesn't really bother me. What does bother me is the amount of freaking hyper armor these guys get. They can quite easily tank through a lot of different weapon hits in order to get at you, and I don't know. I feel like that's stacking the deck a little bit too much in their favor, and it makes them a somewhat frustrating enemy to deal with, especially if you're not, you know, pairing them or you don't have a quick weapon. By the way, this is, as you no doubt noticed, this is another white birch tree, and from way the heck over there, our giant buddy is doing some serious work sniping the hollows wandering this graveyard. Definitely appreciated, but as always, it makes me wish he would help out in more places. More Titanite to the side. I cannot complain. Curse Ward Great Shield. Yeah, we'll check this out real quick. I'm sure any Dark Souls 2 players have this engraved in their minds, especially if you've played Scholar of the First Sin, which I'm like currently going through on my off time, and I have. If you're playing that version, you're encountering more of the original owner of this shield than you ever wanted to. These used to belong to the Pursuer type enemy in Dark Souls 2. Curse Ward Great Shield. Great Shield given to those who resisted the curse long ago. Far too heavy for an ordinary person. Perhaps it signifies the foolishness of resisting the curse. And yet, those who bear the weight of this shield will not find its protection against curses wanting. And I suppose that's referring to the 75 dark resistance? Or maybe it has like a hidden effect that resists the actual curse status effect. I haven't really tried it, so I'm not sure. Right here we have a sort of shortcut. This ladder, I'll just go ahead and show you, descends below to the point we were at earlier, where we could drop down from the graveyard, fight some of those maggot beasts, and then we wrapped around again to the bonfire. Well, now we can skip going into the graveyard and just take this ladder up. It's not an amazing shortcut at the moment. I guess it has a little bit more value later on, but whatever. Alright, let's push forward to this intimidating keep. Cathedral, not keep. May as well be a keep though, right? Loop around to the side. Get ourselves some treasure. Not amazing treasure, but we'll take it. And these large intimidating doors that do not open from this side. So we're going to be forced to take the side route. Let's get our weapon buffed up again. You know, if I'm going to use magic weapon, I should at least add one Ashen Estus flask to my equipment, just so I can refill it with some amount of ease. Hmm. I guess now upon reflection, sorry for the brief silence there. Now upon reflection, I suppose it would have been much easier to keep that bar stocked up for magic weapon if I had gone with the Executioner's Greatsword, given that it has the ability to regain FP every time you kill a dude with it. So the when you're two-handing this weapon, and we cannot abide this archer any longer. When you're two-handing this weapon and you use your roll, the roll attack, it's actually one of the quicker attacks this thing has, and it's pretty nice for trying to get the upper hand on quicker enemies, or getting the first word in on even regular enemies. And you can see more of these thralls have dropped down. Try and give us grief. Let's see how... Okay. Even without a buff, we can take these guys out in one hit. And since this is a great act, we should... Sniper over there. We should be granted a little bit of hyper armor once we are about halfway into our swing, which is about as close as you're going to get in most circumstances to traditional poise. Good. I was hoping these guys would go down with one. And he's done. Heavy bolts. So, I guess one thing I want to point out now, and I don't have really an answer for it, but all these interesting stake-like items that are littered around the roof of the cathedral here, I'm not sure I understand what their purpose is, but they are pretty suspect, if you ask me. You can see we got a thrall hanging up here. I'm just checking to see if... are we just short of being able to... There we go. Screw your ambush. I mean, you tried your best. I get it. Over this way, we got some evangelists. Suppose preaching to the already converted here. As you just saw, we used a weapon buff. Nope, don't want to be around for that. A weapon buff to get us a little bit more damage. It's described in the thing. Sharpen the blade to, or scrape the blade to sharpen and enable a cleaner cut. And that'll give us, can't see it now, but it gives us a little bit more damage when it's active. I want to hold off on using it since we're running a little low on FP. But I did a little bit of testing, and the damage bonus we get from the sharpening is nice, but it's actually a little less potent than the damage bonus we get for simply using magic weapon. Oh I did not notice at all that our health was so low. I'm also testing out the disappearing HUD thing, just for a more immersive play environment. But as you can see, it means that I am not as attentive to my health bar as maybe I should be. So I do apologize for that. That's two unnecessary, fully unnecessary deaths due to negligence on my part. We may... I'm going to keep trying it for a little bit longer, but we may disable the whole hidden HUD thing just for ease of play, because I don't want to have to do runbacks like this too often. This is not that kind of playthrough, hopefully. And this is a medium shield, and I'm not amazing at countering with the medium shields, but nope. If I could get the parry timing on these guys, that would be nice. That is by far the easiest way to deal with these. Check our health. They do have a few attacks that are seem to be unparryable, but for the most part, they're actually not too hard to parry. That's why I say it's kind of the best way to deal with them. Sergeant, man. Maybe if we had stuck with our pyromancy, we could have dealt with that, but oh well. Not interested. Not interested. Ooh. So the rolling one-handed attack here is not nearly as helpful as the rolling two-handed attack. Ooh, Titanite shard. I didn't know they dropped Titanite shards. As I've stated, we want all of these that we can get. Level up our great machete a bit more. So far I'm enjoying the great machete a lot more than the heavy pick. Although I'm usually more of a dex or quality weapon kind of guy. I don't hate what we got going on here. I like that we can trade. Although I must remind myself that that is not always a good thing to do, judging by all the arrow bolts sticking out of me. Come on, notice us. See if I can get another slick parry on this guy. Nope. See, he's got... Ooh, that was so fucking close. He's got hyper armor as well. Ooh, I really cut that close. Maybe we should ember ourselves just so we have a little bit more HP to work with here. Not this time, my little friends. And you can see we got two more of these bastards hanging off the wall. Wanted to ambush us. Wonder if I can... Yeah. Hey! Worked out. Around the corner. This guy right here will try to hit you with undead hunter charms, which can put you in a very bad situation later on. And you have to start dealing with the grave wardens up here. Notice us. And we're gonna retreat because there is actually another one waiting in the wings. Ooh, fuck. See what I meant about the high aggression of these guys? Partial parry is still a parry. He's still kicking. Oh, he's still kicking. Alright, let's pick our hit wisely here. We've already taken enough damage, I think. Consumed too many flasks. I do like this weapon, but as I said before, I am not 100% used to the timings on weapons like these. This attack, unfortunately, is definitely one of the ones you can't seem to parry. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. These guys are a little rough to fight. Such a heavy weapon. That is all my fault. I'm not blaming the weapon there. It's just me not being as familiar or comfortable with anything over with a higher weight class than a great sword. He killed his buddy before his buddy had a chance to self-destruct. Somewhat amusing there. Let's go two-handed again. We're low on flasks, but we're getting close to our next shortcut, so I think we'll be alright. Yeah, let's mess with this situation. Guy hanging out down there. These guys are mostly fine, but around the corner... ha 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 ha. Around the corner we have a great axe wielding large hollow. Thankfully his attacks are as slow as ours, so it's quite easy to find our timing. We can't help it. No, no, come on. None of that. Ember isn't exactly worth all that effort, but now you know. And we've reached our second set of large blue doors leading inside. This time, however, they do open from this side. Before I step in, though, I just want to make a quick note of some of the architecture we got around here. So we saw all of them worshipping these gargoyle-esque creatures. Looks like just a procession of followers there. And over here, yeah, this is just another standard gargoyle statue. The growth on the back, I don't believe this was the case for the earlier ones, but the growth on the back now seems to have sprouted wings. It's not 100% similar to the statue we saw in the undead settlement in that also cathedral church looking area. But it's kind of close. And we have more of these stakes everywhere. What purpose do these serve? I actually do have an idea of what they do, but I don't want to get into that just yet. Here we have a shockingly non-grotesque statue of a woman who looks to be in some sort of state of mourning or distress. I wonder what that's all about. And this time I wonder for real. Like, I guess I have a few ideas that we can't get into just yet, but I don't have anything I would be super confident in saying. But it is interesting to take note of everything. Oh. More of those root-like structures. This time on the freaking roof. Or, not roof, but the ceiling, the beams. These root-like structures are actually all over the Cathedral of the Deep, as I'm sure you've been noticing. But also worth noticing is this huge-ass giant, who I'm sure will never give us any trouble. Here's more statues here. I cannot tell from here, but Are they supporting that column somehow? Yeah, it kind of looks like they are. Just kind of messed up architecture. I don't know how that would work. I don't feel like statues would be good load-bearing structures for something of this magnitude, but it does have some pretty twisted symbolic meanings that you could speculate on. Looks like a marsupial of some sort? I don't know what the hell that's about. Sorry as I scan the cathedral here, but there's just so much detail that went into this place that it's really tempting to take a little bit of time and examine it all. Like this big chandelier. Doesn't seem to have anything particular going on other than looking really fucking cool. And over here we can spy more of those statues that were in the undead settlement, which leads me to believe that that church structure was either built by or added on by the evangelists of the deep once they arrived in the undead settlement, or alternatively, well, we'll get into what I'm thinking about later, but there may have been another reason why that sort of cathedral structure was already there. Here's our first slime enemy. You'll recognize them from Dark Souls 1. I don't remember if they were in Dark Souls 2. It's a rather grotesque blob of bone and slime. You can see it juts out sharpened bones to attack us. As before, the best way to deal with these guys is a little bit of fire. And that may seem random, by the way, slimes in the cathedral, but I assure you it's not. Ah, traps. Yeah, fortunately, we have these play-looking statues can also emit grotesque slime from underneath their hoods, which will poison us. But here we finally get a chance to take a look at some of the worshippers who still inhabit this cathedral, attacking us with their candlesticks here. I'm gonna let this one live for a moment since they peace out with a Silver Knight sound effect when they die. As you can tell, they've definitely got religious regalia on. The holy symbol candlestick thing is a nice touch. They seem to be former worshippers here who have either hollowed or worse, succumbed to something else. I wonder if the number of candles on this candelabra is significant to anything. I have no idea. I don't know if maybe that's the original number of important founders, to be coy with the term. I know we're low on healing, but let's head down here real quick. Do we have enough to... Yes, we do. This is just a short area, so I feel like we're alright going down here. That slime, by the way, does not drop on you when you first come through. It's supposed to be a little ambush for your way back. Nah, we got you, lady. With our badass blue fire sword. Cleaver, sorry, cleaver. And our reward, a deep gem. And, not a terrible vista of the structure that initiates the beginning of the path of sacrifice. And our giant friend has some kind of weird weird shading effect on him. I suppose it's probably supposed to look better from different angles. Like how our magic lights up this hallway just a wee bit. But enough of that. We could head out here, which will lead us to where that giant is, a lower archway, but we're going to take this lift first and open up a much needed shortcut for ourselves. There we are once again. Outside. And if we look over this way, we can see another path, which will become useful to us later. And we are back to the cleansing chapel and the safety of its bonfire. So I think we're gonna rest up here. Pop on back to Firelink real quick, level up our weapon, and do a short item roundup. I don't think we got too much, but if anything, did we even get anything new? Besides the Curse Ward shield, which I already looked at? Oh, due diligence, by the way. I leveled up twice off camera, just to level 40.
Ah, 'tis good to see ye. What needs me?
That's where we're going to remain for a while. Get our shards in, and we'll allot one Estus to Ashen. And we'll use some of our Titanite to get this up to +2. Get that extra edge we were looking for.
Pretty, I don't.
And yeah, we also picked up a undead bone shard from that graveyard area where the arrows were coming down. So we'll use that to get a much needed buff to the healing level of our Estus flask. And I don't believe, you can see Crespro is pieced out for the time being. I don't believe anybody has anything new to say for us at this point. So I'm gonna head right back into the thick of it. Oh, right, and once we get there, I'll do that item roundup, if there is even any item to round up on. There are some interesting things to locate in here, but I don't think we've gotten to them yet. Get rusted coins. An old rusted copper coin. Crushing the coin boosts item discovery. Those who have lost their fortunes rely upon this superstitious practice, hoping to retrieve what was once theirs, and more. Which does exactly what it sounds like. Boosts your item discovery. I think these ones boosted by 50, but I don't know. You can double check me if you want. And they are useful to have when you are trying to farm up something. Here's one thing we did get. A gem, or a deep gem, a gem of infused titanite, found in the dregs of the Cathedral of the Deep. Used an infusion to create deep weapons. Deep weapons inflict dark damage, but lose scaling effects. There is a darkness that lies beyond human ken. So, this is what was attached to that battle axe we found way back at the beginning of the playthrough. Adds flat dark damage, removes scaling, just like the fire gem. They even basically look the same. And is found in the dregs of the Cathedral of the Deep. I suppose that means these corrupted followers, perhaps. The Deep is a very, very interesting concept that was introduced in this game, and I'm not fully sure what I think about it yet. When I first encountered it, I had thought that maybe it was just a new term for what we used to refer to as the abyss, the darkness. And I thought maybe, oh, maybe for whatever reason they changed up the vocabulary on it. One friend suggested to me that maybe they do that to show, like, over the course of time, terms for things change and shift. Yeah, maybe. I had thought maybe it was just kind of like a bit of arbitrary changing the vocabulary, or maybe they didn't. Oop. Let's let him have his fit. Some arbitrary change of the vocabulary, but after looking into it more, I don't think that is the case. It's still possible that just the localization team did not you know, localize it properly, but I don't think that's the case any longer. And there are a few items that led me to believe that. It certainly gives the impression when you first encounter it of like the deep. Are you like referring to like deep sea or something along those lines? I hadn't thought of that because I had immediately like made the abyss connection in my mind, but another friend had kind of suggested that maybe it meant like a deep sea or deep ocean. He had sort of hoped that we would see some Lovecraftian nonsense in the game as a result of that. I agree with him, that would have been quite cool, but does not seem to be the case, and the nature of the deep remains a bit abstract. But we'll get into it more, you know the deal, once we have more items to substantiate, you know, my ramblings here. So, as you saw, this giant can cause you just a whole hell of a lot of grief. But if you're patient and you time your rolls halfway decently, it is quite possible to take him out with relative ease, which I definitely recommend doing. We're gonna climb up here before we go across the bridge. Just because it's not that difficult, why would we want to subject ourselves to that kind of suffering? Plus they tend to drop large titanite shards, which are always nice. Ah! Missed time by roll. No! Fuck. I duck. I got greedy. I played way too greedy, and damn it. I forgot to unequip that Ring of Sacrifice. Oh well. I mean, we were gonna slap it back on anyway, but I was hoping maybe not to have to lose one at all. So it goes in the world of Dark Souls. I was considering cutting the episode here, saving you all the having to even look at the run back, but I've just decided on the fly that there's a different point that I want to cut this episode off at. It'll be more effective to me doing things off screen in between. No new architecture though to give me something to prattle on about in the meantime. It sucks, but we're already almost back. Oh, couldn't even put our... Alright, there is no soul pile. I'm a lunatic. Soul pile. Alright, this time let's just cross over the bridge. We don't appreciate these guys hanging off the side. Oh, he's got a blowgun. He's got a blowgun! Take care of all our ambushers here. Seek guidance. A new miracle. We'll take a look at that. I'm feeling like next time on the next episode. But before we cut it off, I just want to head down here to this kind of small ancillary chapel. Set up very much like the cleansing chapel, but in a much more modest size. And waiting for us here, they tried to hide it with the carpet, but we see that chain is pointing forward, which means this is not a chest we want to fuck with. What I'm going to be attempting to do here is using undead hunter charms to get a rare item from this mimic. So when you pop them with one of these, they release the item they were holding, and if you're lucky, they also release their unique item. Which we were not lucky. Shit, that does a lot of damage. You have to switch to a somewhat weaker weapon. Here we go. That's pretty weak. But if you don't get the item you're looking for, you hit them once, reset them, and then throw out another another undead hunter's charm. And if you're not stupid like me, you equip item discovery boosting things, so that you get yourself a better chance at getting the item you want. No luck. Well, I'm gonna keep at this for a while until I get what we want. But I'm not gonna make you watch any more of it. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you will join me again as we get farther into the Cathedral of the Deep and start hitting some of the really interesting events that there are to see. See y'all later.